What's going on, Flix Talkers? Welcome back to Flix Talk. We're back with a special podcast this time for us. Spoilers, I got an amazing guest, someone that I've been following since day one. Over a year, right? We were talking about a year?
About a year, yeah, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have Elliott from Movie Files, man. How are you doing today?
I am doing great, man. How are you doing? I know you were a little sick a couple days ago. How you feeling?
Yes, getting off that sickness train, and it's hitting
Yeah.
me. It's hitting me late. It's weird because I usually get it. Well, most people get it in December. You know, the end of the
Yeah.
year. We usually when it gets cold. I got
Hmm.
it. Over here, damn near March. So I got that
Yeah.
spring fever.
Hmm.
And it hit me pretty bad, and it happened right on the day I was gonna watch Us.
I think I remember seeing it on your Insta stories. Yeah,
Yeah,
you were like, the sickness has got me, but you had to go see it.
yeah, and
So
it was
yeah.
and it was weird because that one week I was like, should I see it on Thursday night?
Hmm.
Premiere night. Well,
Yeah.
premiere night for me. We'll talk about how you get to see the premieres way
Yeah.
ahead of everybody else, but it was
Mm-hmm.
premiere night for me Thursday night. But for some reason, I wanted to hold off a little bit
Hmm.
and wait another day so I could do a full review on it that day while it was fresh in my head early on.
Right. All right.
Got sick as a dog, had to go home early from work, and it was just a whole bad situation overall. And I had to wait till Sunday the next, no, yeah, Sunday to watch
It's
it.
opening weekend. Yeah.
So,
Gotcha.
I was amazed to see the numbers. So, I mean, we
Hmm.
can talk about what is it? Something at 85 mil or 80 mil, 85
I
mil?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
The cumulative amount so far, I believe, is like 80, which is awesome. I know it was like what the third
phenomenal.
highest grossing original script of all time, and I mean, it just broke all types of records, which
Yeah.
is awesome.
Now, one thing I was looking at Box Office Mojo right now was that they keep comparing, Us and Get Out,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
with the
Yeah.
numbers, and we know right
Hmm.
now it's like doubled in the 5 day. I
Yep.
think it was something like Us was in the 40 million range for five
Hmm.
days. Us, did I say Us? Get Out was in
Get
the
out. Yeah.
45 million range, and
Hmm.
Us is in the 80 million range for 5 days.
Yep.
So it's doing
Yep.
phenomenal. It's doubling. He definitely beat the sophomore jinx, Jordan Peele.
Did
So,
indeed.
so
Yeah.
congratulations to him. I thought he did a great job, man. I thought it was amazing. But the one thing that kind of threw me off a little bit is Box Office Mojo. They showed the five, I think, top grossing horror movies like recently.
Hmm.
They had the Nun up there. They had
Yeah. Halloween, probably, right?
yeah, yeah. And
Mhm.
what was a little interesting to me is they threw Us in the thriller category and they threw Get Out in a horror category.
Hmm.
So, what constitutes a horror and a thriller nowadays? Because
Yeah.
I thought this would be more horror than Get Out than anything.
I totally agree with you. I mean, I know. I mean, I can see the obviously with Get Out the psychological horror and kind of the last and third act had some tropes that we're used to seeing, just him taking out everyone in the house. But yeah, I would say Get Out or Us is definitely more in a vein of
Mhm.
a horror film, especially the themes and a lot more blood and a lot more viciousness to this film than Get Out. So yeah, that's interesting. They put it in a thriller more than a horror. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And I know we had talked about, people comparing the two, but I just couldn't find
yeah.
myself not talking about like when I was talking about it with coworkers because I walked in Monday morning to work
Hmm.
yelling crawdaddy, like I was just like so excited to talk this to
Yeah.
everybody because I knew everybody was going to be watching it, right?
All right. Right.
But when I was talking about it, I kept using the word "get out"
Mhm.
instead of us, for the
Us.
title,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Right.
man, it's
Right.
just because that name has just been ingrained in our heads,
Hmm.
the last couple years,
Right.
and
Right.
it's a huge standout film. Now, right off the bat, can I ask you, what did you prefer, Get Out or Us overall? Just an overall picture.
I think from a a rewatchable, at least for right now, and then I'm a week removed from the film. I would say Us to me was more of a thrill ride, a crowd pleaser, something I can put on a regular basis. And obviously, since it's so new, dissect all the Easter eggs I didn't see for the first time. But
Right.
I still love watching Get Out just from again the different perspectives of you see it for the first time and then you watch for the second time and take it in what you know from the first and then seeing, oh, if I would have caught that line, what I had known with the twist, I guess you can say, because I guess that's something I want to bring up a little bit later
Mm,
is Jordan Peele's films being kind of looked at as, if it doesn't, if, are his films going to be looked at as like M. Night Shyamalan with the twist?
right.
Does the twist work for you? Because I know a lot of people nitpick the film and I guess the twist per se didn't work for them, so it kind of brought their score down, which is another topic. But no, I think for me right now, I definitely say Us has a little bit more of a rewatchability for me at least,
Okay.
but still love Get Out.
Okay. Now, I think I've only seen. Have you seen Get Out once or twice?
I've seen it multiple times now. I saw
Okay.
it twice at the theater, and then I have it at home now, and I watch it every so often on Blu-ray. So I
Okay.
love that film.
And with us, you've only seen once, correct?
Just the one time. Yep, just the
Okay.
one
Okay.
a week ago. Yep, yep.
I feel like if I were to watch Us, it would kind of grow on me a little more. But I
Mhm.
feel like since I've seen Get Out maybe about 3 or 4 times since I've owned it,
Yep.
I kind of just cling to that one a little more.
Yeah.
And of
No,
course,
that makes
since
sense.
of course, since it's like the debut and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
but I think with anything, especially modern movies, you're gonna always compare them to older
Oh yeah.
movies.
Part of the
Especially
nature. Yeah.
horror and thriller movies have been around for decades now, and it's hard to not kind of throw them in the category of it's this kind of movie, this kind of movie, this one,
Right.
but these movies that he's making are definitely standout films, and I can't wait to see what he does with the Twilight Zone. I mean, they dropped that extended trailer today. I didn't get a chance to see it, but it did pop
Me
up my
neither, but
feed.
I saw a couple of
Yeah.
them. I didn't watch the whole thing yet, but it looks
So,
pretty interesting.
so do you know his involvement with that? Because I know he's just hosting it. Is he producing it or is he?
I would imagine someone of his stature, especially in the position he's in now, that he has some type of creative, input in either the scripts or who they brought in to be in a certain episode. So I would imagine he has some type of influence on that. But if it is just the host, that's great. But I would imagine he has some type of involvement where he's heavily influencing the style of the episodes or the tone or whatever the case may be. So,
Right.
but I know he is the host. But it looks interesting. Right now, I don't have any CBS access just because the content just hasn't justified me paying for another. We have 1,000 streaming services right now, but
Dude,
the
trust me.
Twilight
Trust me,
Zone
I
might
know.
be up my alley if I hear really good things about it. But yeah.
Yeah, we actually just canceled our Direct TV a couple days ago because we found out they're raising the
Hmm.
prices monthly, and they're
Hmm.
going to be getting rid of I think 22 channels or something. There's like a huge AT&T debate with going on with Viacom or something. It's like, you know what? I'll stick with the movies, man.
Yeah, I mean, not to derail this conversation of us, but I'm in the same boat,
Yeah,
man. I think we're about 6 months removed from cable, and we just stream now, man, which is just,
yeah.
where it's at,
Oh,
But
definitely.
we have
And
a million streaming services, so it's hard to
oh
keep
yeah.
track of them all.
And before we go on, guys, I got to let you
Yep.
know that Elliott from Movie Files, his whole channel is it's TV based, it's movie based, trailer based. It's pretty much a lot of entertainment going on. So you want to talk a little bit about your channel because I do want people to check it out and subscribe.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's the jack of all trades, I guess you can say. Yeah, we started off as movie reviews and TV reviews. And then we kind of branched off. At first when I got on YouTube, it was just kind of a fun hobby thing, which it still is now. But
Hmm.
the people meeting people like you and other people in the sphere that we're in with the movie community. I just started to do more trailer reactions and unboxing videos, giveaways. So a little bit of everything, man. And we have such a good time with the channel. And again, we meet so many awesome people like yourself, and it's just been a fun experience. And we love the community that we've built so far. So yeah, if you're looking for movie reviews, TV reviews, trailer reactions, unboxings, and all that fun stuff, definitely check us out.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Check him out. I'm gonna leave all his information and links to all his social medias and all that good stuff below. And you just hit over 600 subscribers, right? On your way to
Yeah,
700.
man. Yeah, we just hit it the other day, which is awesome. Again,
Congrats on that,
doing.
man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, starting our channel was just something. Again, man, I grew up with film, and I love talking it. So whenever I have the opportunity to talk about movies and commenting with people in the comment section, it's just a ball. So yeah, 600
Definitely.
and hoping to grow more this year.
Okay, cool, man. Sounds good. So let's get right into us. So we
Let's
we
do it.
each we each on our channels have our own non-spoilers reviews, which we're really good at I think putting together. You have the advanced screen reviews because you get to see some of these movies, like 2-3 days earlier, correct?
Yeah, yeah, and sometimes even longer, even further ahead of time. Like I just
Yeah.
saw,
Oh, you did
was
see
that
Shazam, right? That's what another one.
Shazam? Yeah, saw that
Okay, that
last
was
week.
yeah.
And
That was
Long
like
Shot with
2 weeks ahead.
Charlize Theron and Seth Rogen has a movie called Long Shot, which comes out May 3rd, and I saw it last Monday, so like almost
Oh
two
wow!
months in advance. So
Whoa! I didn't even
yeah,
know that. I didn't even know that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I did
So
see
yeah,
the
get
trailer
it.
for that one. Okay.
So yeah, get an opportunity to see some movies early, which is always has its advantages, which is cool.
Definitely another advantage of checking out his page, guys, and his all his social media. So I'm gonna leave all that information below once again. So let's just jump right into us, guys. Like I said, we did talk non-spoilers in our last reviews. So this time we are going to talk some spoilers. And I really just wrote down some of the things that I had to kind of research myself that I did
Yeah.
remember because I
Hmm.
had to kind of just try to decipher them, and the internet was going crazy already.
Oh man, so many explain videos. I dove deep into the hole, man. Like I couldn't get
Yeah.
myself out for it. days was all those explainer videos.
And I'm glad we're waiting about a week, after its
Yeah.
release to talk about
Mhm.
spoilers, because I hate when like Collider or Looper, they always put out these ending explained or
Like
spoiler
the
talk
day
video. It's
before the
like,
release. Yeah.
why
Yeah.
would you do that? The normal people have not seen it yet.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So, I try to avoid all that as much as possible and look it up
Mhm.
after I watch it.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I did look up, because I actually caught it right away, was the numerals of 1111.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So that's something that just me and my girlfriend always point out. It's always like I don't even know where it started from, where it's like 1111, you kiss your girlfriend or boyfriend or
Mhm.
whoever, right? So
It must be
I
a
don't even know.
couples thing, man. We do the same thing. My girlfriend Morgan, superstition, I guess you could say. We always do that when it's 11:11. We always say, "Oh, it's 11:11," and we just stop what we do and just kind of look at each other. And yeah, it's a superstitious thing, I guess. But we do the
Exactly.
same thing. It's crazy.
Exactly. So somehow they threw it into a horror element of this movie right here.
Yeah.
And I did look up the horror. I'm sorry, I did look up the meaning of the 11:11, and it popped up in two scenes. And once on the boardwalk where the man is holding a sign saying Jeremiah 11:11, and another on the clock in the room when when I believe Lupita Nyong'o's character she's tucking in the sun
Yep.
in bed, or she's talking to him on the bed, I believe is what it is. So it says, so the reason for this for this is the number of the doubles. So,
Hmm.
meaning, the altars. And
Yep.
there's also a biblical passage saying, therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring upon evil, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them. I'm always bad at reading passages like that. But I do remember
Yeah.
in a scene where she does call, I think out like, oh God, like help me God, or something like that. There's like
Yeah.
a cry for help, and that's, I
Hmm.
mean, referred to in this passage. So I think he kind of tied all this together, because sometimes they'll throw in a passage and it has a vague reference, but this is
Right. It
pretty
doesn't really apply.
specific.
It is. It goes to the theme of the movie, and
Hmm.
I did similar to you. I looked up that passage and I saw that,
Yeah.
and also the significance behind 11:11, the spiritual aspect of that, and the kind of I guess what did I read? Something about the dealing with like dimensional things, like even for example, Stranger Things, the main character being named 11, how she can kind of interact with different dimensions
I
and do
didn't
that
even,
nature.
yeah,
So
I didn't even put those two together. That's crazy.
have so many different like meanings behind it. So again, him dealing with doppelgangers or the dual characters, and 11:11, obviously the significance of the numbers reflecting each other. So there's so many different like
Yeah.
in-depth things. I mean, literally you can dissect so many different things about this movie, which is one of the things I love about it.
Yeah, it's intense. It just shows right there that the writing, he definitely wanted to convey a little more to his fans, and not
Yeah.
just be a separate, this is what's going to happen here, here. I want you to think about these things afterwards. And that's, like I said, when I was at work, I mean, we're always talking about movies, music, whatever is going on, pop culture currently, we're always talking it.
Hmm.
And it really got me thinking, even with that twist at the end, where Lupita Nyong'o's character, what was her name, Adeline,
Adelaide was who
Adelaide,
we
yeah,
thought for the whole movie was the protagonist, but then
exactly,
Red was her opposite. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Oh, Red. See, I didn't even know that the opposite had a name.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
guess so. Quick rundown. The Peter Longo's character, Annalee slash Red.
Hmm.
You had Gabe slash Abraham, Zora slash Umbre. Jason was Pluto. So yeah, I don't know the significance of those names. Again, we can do a dive deep into that, and probably obviously Abraham,
Yeah.
another biblical thing, and
Hmm.
Pluto, I guess with space and outer space and
Yeah.
being involved with fire. So there's so many meanings behind this film. It's just it can take you on the dive,
I did catch
deep dive.
I did catch the name of the kid, Pluto,
Mhm.
when the scary, creepy looking gimp with the hat, with the
Yeah.
mask on.
Yep.
Oh God, man, that was.
Yeah.
I really have to say that when we first got our introduction to Red on the screen,
Mhm.
my mouth was like, I couldn't believe, I really couldn't believe for a second this was Lupita Nyong'o. I
The
couldn't believe it. The
performances, man,
acting
it's
blew me away.
off the chains, man.
Yeah.
Like, and I know you brought it up in your review, and I brought it up in mine too. I mean, she again, we get these great performances in horror films, and they never really get appreciated when it comes to Oscar season or award season. But she killed it. Everyone did, but that Lupita, I walked away just
Yeah.
like you said, jaw on the floor. She was phenomenal in both roles.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think movies like this, even though they have horror elements, like for a Quiet Place, for
Hmm.
example, I think movies like this should be thrown and recognized in certain categories, when it comes, to Oscar season or award season, pretty much. Um, but I understand. And you know what? I think horror is like one of the genres that gets put out the most, like even direct to VOD and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
think because sometimes they're the more easier go to,
Hmm.
easy written, type of films.
Yeah.
They're really cookie cutter,
Yeah.
so there's not much kind of thrown into there. But yeah, I definitely agree. A lot of coworkers were telling me that, I read, on the set, everybody, you could hear a pin drop when she came on because they were just waiting
Hmm.
for her performance, and they were just like, they were in shock and awe, that she really stepped
Right.
it up.
Hmm.
And one thing that I did, that a lot of people kind of really didn't agree with me, it was just a little odd to see, was the Winston Duke character.
Yeah, I saw that in
Um,
review. He didn't really hit it for you, right?
well,
You
it's not.
just
It's. I think it's just that the cringe factor you're going from Umbaku
Mhm.
to. I mean, I understand why they did it. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
you had the Howard College,
yeah. Hmm.
sweater on that he had.
Yeah,
So he was someone, like I said, that was very book smart. He didn't seem really threatening at all, especially when
yeah.
he had that when he had the bat. So
You want to
I
get
guess,
crazy, you
yeah,
can get crazy.
I guess to the T, he played that. It's not his fault at all.
Yeah,
It was just my own personal preference. It was a little weird and off-putting.
off-putting, sure.
And
I
of
get,
course, with the dad jokes, the dabbing and all that stuff was really
yeah,
funny, in there too. But it left room for her to step up,
yeah.
as that solid character. But of course, we find out in the end, she's pretty much, the evil twin.
She's the bad guy, which is
She
so crazy to me, man. Like
that we're all like, so do we root for her still, or what do we do? you
I
know?
was talking to my girlfriend on the way home from the movie. It's just like it's crazy how he was even walk still to this day. I still feel like I'm rooting for Adelaide, the
Oh yeah,
evil person. 'Cause it's just like, and it just goes against to Jordan Peele's crafting a great script and the character development that we're rooting for the bad guy, which I do occasionally when we got a good written bad guy you can root for him. But
yeah.
it's amazing how they were able to pull that off.
Definitely agree. So another thing that I wrote down, was the whole conversation about the tethers.
Hmm. Hmm.
So at first I really didn't understand it until I started talking to some coworkers about it, and then of course, looked it up online, and it says it's a conspiracy theory that's about government cloning. I mean,
Yeah.
kind of, just a little easy breakdown, I guess, of it. But is there much that you know about that at all, about the tethers? Because I don't know too much about it.
No, I just took it for face value from what we got in the film that, they threw in the little hints of governmental experimenting when her daughter Zora was in the car and she said, the government puts fluoride in our water.
Hmm.
And then obviously the opening scene with the Holding Hands of America, which was obviously a big thing in the 80s and, the government being involved with that. So I just took it at, like I said, with the face value of the film that they were experimenting with cloning rabbits, and then it became something bigger and humans. And obviously, as they mentioned in the film,
Right.
they weren't able to clone the soul of the tether, and that's why they were so kind of primal and the way their actions were just so kind of animalistic. So,
Right.
yeah, so it was yeah.
Yeah, hence you get the grunting for communication as well,
Exactly.
and also, before I forget, someone that I've been following for a long, long time, Tim Heidecker. I'm so glad he was in this movie. I
Mm.
don't know if you know his previous work, but I've been watching him, since all the Adult Swim days. Tom
Hmm.
Goes to Mayor, Tim and Eric, of course. He even came out with a couple independent projects called The Comedian, I believe, or The Comedy.
Hmm.
And he has a lot of hands in writing different shows. He has his own production company called
Hmm.
Absolutely. They produce the Eric Andre show. Have you ever seen that
Yeah,
one? Yeah.
I haven't. No.
Okay. So it's more like that cringe humor. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was a little interesting to see him in this movie because it's a complete opposite of what he does. It's more of like it's like when you see Jason Bateman in a serious role and he's a
Hmm.
comedian,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he still kind of has that dry, sarcastic humor.
Right.
That's
Right.
how I kind of felt Tim Heidecker was, and I'm glad he gave him shine. Apparently, I guess I was listening to a Tim Heidecker podcast. He has his own podcast as well called Office
Mhm.
Hours, and he was talking about how Jordan just directly called him specifically for this role, and he didn't even make him
Wow.
audition.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I guess
Yeah.
they must have been friends and stuff, and
Hmm.
I'm glad it worked out because, I mean, you don't have a huge cast besides the family. You have Elizabeth Moss, Tim Heidecker, the two daughters who we don't really get to see too much of, and then of course the family, the main
Yeah.
family. So I like that because I don't like to focus too much on a million different characters.
Hmm.
I felt
Hmm.
like we just got invested enough, and I thought it was perfect. I thought it was absolutely perfect. So. The interpretation of the rabbits. I know you talked about it a little bit. They had worked on cloning of the rat. See, I guess I must have missed that part. They had tried
Yeah,
cloning on the. So I guess I took the rabbits as like a metaphor of more of the multiplying, and that of course they show that they used them as a food source is what it looked
exactly.
like. In one of the
Yeah.
scenes, it looked like somebody was eating them.
Was eating them. Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
think as you just mentioned, yeah, how rabbits can produce so easily, and
Right.
they're that has a meaning behind it, and also as they were eating the rabbits, so I mean, it kind of ties hand in hand the cloning of the rabbits, and then the clones they actually the next progression of cloning, the humans are eating the rabbits, so it kind of even dives deeper into just
Right.
the circle of life type of situation. So no,
Yeah.
it was interesting to see, and also Jason, at the end of the movie, the character Jason takes a rabbit with him, which is another thing I want to get your opinion on. As far as I don't know if you've seen a
I just
theory
remembered
of
that.
Jason being a tethered himself. I know
And you
that
know
theory's been
what?
thrown out there.
A coworker just mentioned that yesterday too. He said,
Yeah,
I read a theory that Jason was
yeah,
also a doppelganger as well, or
yep,
a tether.
a tethered.
Um,
Yeah,
it might have gone over my head, and
hmm
maybe I missed it, or some of the signs. I definitely knew that he was one of the smartest ones in the group for
in the
sure.
family. Yep.
Especially when we get that scene of him walking backwards, and then his clone kind of walks back as well into
hmm
the fire.
Yep.
So I thought that was great. I thought it was a little odd that maybe some of them didn't kind of pick up on that they kind of already know the next move,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on that. I didn't pick up on it though. So maybe I missed something where it
It
mentioned.
totally went over my head too. I saw it was it's a YouTuber. I believe his channel is 3C Films Reviews. He's a pretty good channel. He does a lot of explain videos, and
Okay.
that's where I first came upon it. It was Friday, I think I saw the video, and essentially he had little clues, and I wrote them down here. One showing that Jason is a tethered was or tethered is one. They kept saying, he was cursing throughout the movie. He's like, where did you learn these curse words? And he kept doing like weird stuff. And I know one scene where he was at the beach and the twins say to Zelda that her brother's so weird. And they had mentioned that he's not making sandcastles, he's making tunnels, which obviously hints to the beginning
Oh,
of the film that the thousands of tunnels under the U.S. are uncharted for and things of that
I
nature. So why would
I didn't even catch that part.
yes. So they brought that up, and then obviously, as you just mentioned, him doing the whole, mocking of the tether, mocking him, and he had Pluto go into the fire. So how did he picked up on that a lot easier than the other family members, and there was a couple other hints that kind of alluded to him being a tethered, and I guess for me the theory is kind of 50-50 because I guess it wouldn't make total sense how he was able to. When did the switch take place? How was he able to speak so well? Obviously, and Adelaide was able to pick up on. She grew up on Earth, so she obviously picked up on the mannerisms and was able to kind of blend into the humanity. But how was Jason able to pick up on speaking so easily and doing things normally like a kid?
Right.
And like I said, I guess the biggest thing is when did the switch take place? I know one of the theories out there was like maybe one of the summers, because again, the whole idea of him not knowing how to do his magic trick. Why does he not know how to do it? That's
That's
because the
right.
tethered wouldn't know how to do the trick because obviously he's picking up on it for the first time. But
Yeah.
it's a lot of theories out there with that. So it'll be interesting to see if Jordan Peele, 6 months down the road, kind of confirms if that is the case or if it's just a theory.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really interesting.
I believe there was a video that came out about a week after Get Out had released, with everybody's fan theories, and it was something like
Hmm.
Jordan Peele
Yep.
reviews fan theories for Get Out,
Yep.
and
I've seen that. Yep.
he kind of just laughed it off as I think it might have been like a Wired
Hmm.
video or something like that. But
Yep.
yeah, he kind of just laughed it off and shook it off and was like, oh, I didn't even think of it like
Think
that
about that.
or
Yeah.
like that. I mean, he could be totally trolling us, or
Right.
it
Right.
could have been like, oh, these humans are smarter, smarter than they look. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, there's many interpretations, and it has me going back thinking over and over again, and it's so weird because I mean, he only waited 2 years to do this,
Hmm.
essentially.
Yep.
Whereas, I get someone that's like my favorite director, Quentin Tarantino, who takes like so long to put these movies together.
Well,
But
the Hateful Eight was what 2015,
I
right?
think
Hateful Eight.
yeah, 20, yeah, I think it might have been about 2015.
Now we get 4 years. Yeah, he takes a while, and nine
Yeah.
films in. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's someone that's not revered.
Mhm.
Like you get a lot of opinions because for me, even some of his quote unquote lower end or like filler movies are still eights. Still real
Yeah.
high 8 out of 10s. for me, movies like Jackie Brown. I always love Jackie. I have a soft spot for Jackie Brown, even though it's not an extraordinary entertaining movie. It's of course a lot more about the dialogue and stuff. You have Four Rooms. I don't know if you saw that one. Four Rooms. It had Tim Roth, more of a comedy.
Yeah, I've never finished it, but it's something I got to retrace my tracks back on. But I've seen some of it, not all of it though. Yeah.
Yeah, another one with all the usual suspects and
Yep.
characters in that one. Another one that's another one that gets kind of like looked over, but it's not a bad movie, but it's not like Pulp Fiction. It's not
Yeah.
like Kill Bill. It's not
Natural
like
Reservoir Dogs or anything like that. Yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
Now, the thing I think with modern moviegoers nowadays, if you're not putting out, it's like music. If you're not putting out constantly, people forget about
Forgotten.
you.
Forgotten
You
very
know,
easily. Yeah.
they forget about your old works. They need you to be relevant and be relatable. If
Yep.
Jordan keeps on this track, I think he's going to be one of the great ones in our time that has memorable movies. He's already hit us with two that are exceptional.
Yep.
You know,
I
and
agree.
so I guess one of my last questions before, if you want to say anything else, is where does he go from here? Where do we go for the next? Because I know he's doing a lot of film. Oh, and on a side note, really quick, I got a call from my brother who lives in New York. I believe he lives in Queens. He just moved there last summer. He says, "Bro," he goes, "I just got hit up by my friend. She's working in production for television shows." I was
Right.
like, "Okay." He goes, "She asked me if I wanted to be a production assistant for a new Jordan Peele TV show."
Wow.
I said, "How ironic! I just got back from watching Us,"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
That is
I said,
awesome.
take it. I said, you
Yeah.
better take that. I don't
Take
care how
that.
little it pays, man. Take
Right,
it for the
right. That's a
experience.
huge opportunity. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it does seem like and it wasn't the Twilight one at all. It's
Hmm.
Twilight Zone. It's totally something else. I think for like an Amazon exclusive or one of these like Hulu exclusives, whatever. Which I see a lot of people going, more towards these streaming services. We just got the announcement a
Yeah.
couple
The
days ago.
Apple.
Apple
Yeah.
is doing their own streaming thing. They're gonna have
Hmm.
exclusives as well. So
Yeah.
it's like I understand the exclusivity of that.
Hmm.
It's cool. I mean, it's direct into your home, right?
Yep. Yep.
But do you think that's the best choice for him to do? Is focus more on TV because that's going to kind of prolong the writing process for movies? I would think.
Yeah, I mean it's a different industry now, right? I mean we have the TV world is almost just as popular in some respects to the film industry. I mean we have big hits, Stranger Things, the trailer drops, and it's just as big as some of the biggest trailers that we get for movies coming out this year, or obviously Game of Thrones. I know you don't watch Game of Thrones, but it's coming up in a couple weeks. It's a phenomenon. So I mean,
Yeah.
the landscape, it used to be when I was growing up, if you saw an actor or a director, doing something in TV realm, it was almost like, oh, their career's over. But now it's like the complete opposite, where these big prestigious actors and directors are lending their creativity to the realm of television, which is it's interesting to see. And I think in 10 to 15 years, the landscape, it's sad to say, but I mean the movie theater experience is definitely going to be impacted in the next 10 to 15 years, where the Netflix of the world, the Amazon, the Apple Plus, Disney Plus. I mean, it's crazy how things are going. So I mean, if he feels like whatever this platform has given him more maybe creative flexibility and not necessarily have to worry about hitting a number and hitting a budget and being able to tell his vision on a 10-hour, 8 to 10 episodes versus a 2-hour experience. It might be good for him and can kind of stretch his wings and do something different.
Yeah, definitely. And while we're on the subject of that,
Yeah.
how you'd spoken about, you feel like the numbers might dwindle as far as the theater experience. I believe that too. I really do
Yeah.
believe that. I think actually, there's articles out there talking about that it is going down. It is on the decline. And I mean, it's funny because you just see these production numbers of the budget's going up higher and higher.
Ridiculous. It's
We're at an
crazy. Yeah.
all-time high. It's insane. But I mean, shit. Look at Endgame coming out. What was it, like $500 million, something like that?
Something ridiculous.
I,
But it's
I,
going
I
to make
think
it back in the first day.
I
So
think they said it was $1 billion for both Avengers
for both
movies.
films,
So you got a budget of
yeah,
$500 million for each one, which is
crazy.
incredible. But
Yeah.
so on that topic, you're a collector as well. I am a physical media.
Yeah.
Where do you see? Because I don't know if you heard. I think it might have been a couple weeks ago. Samsung put out. I believe it was Samsung.
Oh,
Uh,
no, on Blu-rays, right?
yeah,
Or
well,
Blu-ray players.
they stopped producing 4K and Blu-ray players. So
Hmm.
everybody started running for the hills, like protecting their collections because they didn't
Hmm.
know what was to come,
What's
from
going to
that.
happen? Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Someone that collects movies just as much as I
Mhm.
do, you do it way more. But someone that collects movies as much as I am, I'm sure you notice, like in Best Buy, Fry's, all these electronic stores, right?
Yeah,
The physical media section just
smaller and
getting
smaller,
smaller and
man.
smaller and smaller. So where do we go from here? Because it's only going to get smaller, in my opinion, if we keep seeing this trend.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. So I used to, a little background. So I used to work for Best Buy for a while, and
Oh
that
wow,
was something that we used to see all the time. They had so many different companies coming in, organizing the CDs and DVDs, and my last final years, 4 to 5 rolls of movies just were condensed down to one. So I mean, I think the trend now is, the streaming's obviously taking over. Digital codes are big now.
hmm
Downloading on your device and taking on the go. But I think there's still a market. There's still, the idea of collecting physical media. I mean, we have the resurgence of, record players. People are going back to that
that's
style of
true.
listening to music now. So I don't think that we'll see the day where, we don't have the option of buying Blu-rays, but I mean, it's definitely going to be more limited as the years and days go by. But I'm still a collector myself. So, I'll
Yeah.
take physical, digital any day. But
Yeah, same here. Because I mean, well, my main reason for doing it is because you never know when the internet's going to go down, and you need a
exactly,
you need a physical.
exactly, man. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm someone that still is a fan of commentary, a fan of special features and stuff like that.
Oh
I
yeah.
know the younger generation, or even just someone that watches movies occasionally, doesn't really
Hmm.
care about that, and
Which is crazy.
it sucks because I mean, don't you want to see some of these behind this? You love the movie so much, yet you don't want to
Hmm.
see how it's being made.
I spend so many hours. Like I just Spider-Verse came out last week, and I can't tell you how many times I watched that behind the making of the beautiful animation in that movie. And then just recently, Aquaman just came out, and watching the world that James Wan was able to build. I love that,
Yeah,
that behind the scenes aspect. And going back to Us, I can't wait to see the making of Us and how he came up with the script and how he came up with the character moments and all that stuff. So
yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
I'm a big fan of that. Yeah, for sure.
There's a huge production behind everything, and I mean,
Hmm.
not only the guy directing everything, but you have, all these people in play holding the microphones,
Hmm.
setting everything up. And I think people tend to forget that, especially since we're living in such a fast-paced generation of, I need it
Yep.
now, and then on to the next one, on to the next one,
Yep.
on to the next one. I mean, you see how much movie news is coming out every single
Every
day.
day. Yeah, man.
It's incredible. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, us amazing. I still gave it a little of a lower score than Get Out, because I thought Get Out was an overall, I think a more, maybe a realistic, maybe something that I thought it was.
Sure.
Maybe I thought it was a little more terrifying in the fact that I could possibly see this happening in a neighborhood near me. Whereas, you got to lose your mind a little bit when you're dealing with doppelgangers and different things. Like, I mean,
Sure.
it's something I love, but I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
kind of threw it in that more relatable realm. That's why I like Get Out a little more. And
Yeah.
like I said, I've seen Get Out a lot more times than but I'm sure with us, I'll raise that score up to a 9.5 or something, or you
I'm in
know,
the same boat as you, man. Once I've seen it, a couple more times. I mean, again, just the theories that are out there now. Even the one thing that I just picked up on this today, I didn't even think about it, was the idea that Adelaide, her kids are essentially they're half tethered, right? Because she had
that's true.
children with Abraham. So maybe that explains why their family was the only one that survived the horrific night. Because everyone that we saw in the neighborhood, Elizabeth Moss family, they died quickly.
Yeah.
And everyone in the streets were dead, but their family was able to survive the night because maybe they have a little bit of that primal instinct like their tethered counterparts.
And by the way, how awesome was that fake Alexa that played the NWA song "Fuck the Police"?
It was perfect. I mean, again, and you talked about it in your review and mine. The score in this film, the
Hmm.
soundtrack was on point. I mean, Jordan Peele, and I can't think of the composer of the film, but I know he did Get Out too. That is someone that I can just see for the rest of his career, just his go to person for the
Yeah.
score and soundtrack. It was just it was perfectly fit within the film.
See, and I feel like with especially horror movies, when it's so
Hmm.
easy to throw in a song that's well known and everybody loves, a pop hit or
Hmm.
whatever, he
Hmm.
does the complete opposite. He'll
Yep.
kind of shimmy something in there. I mean, there's
Hmm.
music in there that's, I got five on it, things
Hmm.
like that people know. But he'll shimmy something in there that will totally break your mind of
Yep.
people that don't even listen to this genre of music,
Hmm.
and really open your eyes and your mind to something new and different and fresh, and it throws a whole twist on the scene. I mean, like I said in my review, my spoiler free review, that scene in the intro where we get the pan out of the
Oh, that
of
operatic kind of.
with the
Yeah,
rabbits.
that
I
was,
don't know
yeah,
what that was, but it was
yeah.
spine tingling.
Set the
It
tone.
was, yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
set the tone, and throughout the whole movie as well. And it was awesome. It was a really good, fun, wild ride. So I guess I got to end it off with this last one.
Yeah.
Do we get a sequel, or do we get a fresh new movie? Because we saw what happened to Quiet Place. What's happening to Quiet Place?
It makes, yeah, that they kind of, yeah, so I think, so I read an interview, or I watched an interview with Jordan Peele, and I think he has I believe either a 3 to 4 film kind of in the same vein as Get Out, where it had a social commentary with, obviously some horrific moments going on. Same
Hmm.
with Us. I think he wants to kind of continue to do the trend where he's going to talk about society. Obviously, Get Out had the social impact to it, and Us, I think, touches a little bit more on like classism and
Hmm.
equality and things of that nature, and people being forgotten and things of that nature. So I think he's going to stick to that theme, and I think that he has an idea where he wants to maybe. I believe it was some interview he said that there's little Easter eggs that kind of alludes that this is in the same universe, kind of like Twilight Zone meets Black Mirror, where everything is just kind of a different time or in a different neighborhood. But I think he's going to do another original script.
Okay.
I don't think he's a trilogy type of sequel guy. I think he wants to continue to make original scripts. And I mean, if we get a sequel, I'll welcome it. But I'm definitely more excited to see his next venture into something more, new and different that we've never seen before. So
Yeah, I feel, especially with horror, I feel like it's so easy to quick to jump to the sequel. It's such an easy go to. And I was really surprised that, as John Krasinski's kind of first major directorial debut with Quiet Place, him, I don't know if it was allowed or if he was kind of forced into doing a sequel. But I felt like that was like a one and done movie. I mean, we left off with that shotgun pump, and it was
with
like,
shot,
okay,
yeah,
we know what to expect. We know what the
yep,
world's invaded. But I understand that there's fanboys out there that want to explore that, almost like
the
a
universe.
Cloverfield universe type of
Hmm.
thing. And we saw how that. I mean, me personally, I feel like Cloverfield got destroyed. That world got so destroyed. J.J. Abrams let
Yes,
that shit go to hell,
yes,
and it
yes.
could have been something so great.
So awesome. Like, dude, you don't even know when
Yeah,
Cloverfield first came out, that was like the biggest movie for me. I was so excited for that
same
film.
here.
And then the implications of a sequel. And, I like 10 Cloverfield Lane. It was fine.
Hmm.
But obviously, that, I don't even remember, what was it? Cloverfield Paradox or something? Was that the name of it that we got
Yeah,
on
this.
Netflix last
Yeah, we
Super
got
Bowl?
10 Cloverfield Lane and then Cloverfield Paradox. That's what it was. Yeah,
Paradox. It was terrible. And then I know, yeah,
yeah,
the Overlord was at one point
yeah.
intertwined within the
Oh,
Cloverfield universe.
that's so weird that you say that. I didn't know that had anything. I knew he had attached his name on as a
Yeah.
producer like he always does. But
Yep.
Overlord was awesome. I thought
I've
Overlord
yet to
was.
see. I've yet to watch. I have the movie. I've yet
Check
to
that
watch it
out
yet.
as soon
I
as you
will.
can.
Yeah.
It pleasantly surprised me. I didn't know most of the cast other than I believe it's Kurt Russell's son is in it.
Wyatt Russell, I think his name.
Yeah, and I think I'd only seen him in that Black Mirror episode that he's in. But
Hmm.
other than that, I mean, beautiful take on the whole army genre,
Hmm.
mixed in with horror.
Yep.
Definitely check that one out. I
Definitely.
had to pick that one up on 4K. But, anyways, man. It was just announced too yesterday. Jordan Peele is going to be focusing more on a black cast for all of his pretty much movies coming out. What
Yeah.
do you think about
Yep.
that?
I read that. I think it's like he said in a lot of interviews, being represented in the big screen is something that Hollywood has kind of embraced more. Obviously, we saw the numbers of Get Out, or not Get Out, well, yeah, Get Out, but obviously Black Panther. And we saw that with Crazy Rich Asians. We're going to see that, with we saw that with Wonder Woman and obviously Captain Marvel. So I think, there's still a lot that can be done in Hollywood. But I love when someone like Jordan Peele, who has such an impact in Hollywood, and obviously Two for Two, and people, he's almost in the vein of a Christopher Nolan, where you don't have to have any stars almost attached to his movies. You're gonna go see a Jordan Peele film just because of what he's given us so far. So
Yeah.
no, I think it's cool that he's putting people of color in his films and leading the movies. And I know that that's something that means a lot to being African American myself. I love seeing that being represented on the big screen. And
Yeah.
the idea of a horror film, the black people didn't die first. We survived the night. So it's cool that he's doing that. And I love that a lot of different ethnicities and different genders are doing that now. Like I said, we're getting we got Captain Marvel, we got Black Panther, we got Crazy Rich Asians, and I think that trend is going to continue to go on. I don't think it's going to be a trend where Hollywood is like demanding, oh, we have to have an all Latino cast just because Black Panther did well. No, I think it's organically happening where we're getting people attached to these films that can be represented in different cultures,
Yeah.
and bring us to the big screen and being enjoyable. So I think things are turning for the better.
No, I agree, and I'm glad he's doing it as well in a positive, respectable light. Because when I see, and I'm so glad I'm hoping Tyler Perry killed off Medea for good. I am so sick and tired of seeing that stereotype, man. I'm sorry.
It's crazy, man.
And it's so
Yeah,
it's funny because my grandma loves that
mm-hmm,
shit.
mm-hmm,
She loves all that goofiness and the
yeah,
wild antics. So like, there's
yeah,
been a lot of times I've had to watch a lot of those movies with her, man.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm just like, dude, like, and it's you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of. Did you ever see Spike Lee's film Bamboozled?
I have not. No, no. And I've
Another
seen
one
almost
you
every
gotta
Spike Lee
watch.
film, but no. What is it about?
Bamboozled, okay, is pretty much I believe it's Damon Wayans of the Wayans
Uh huh.
brothers.
Uh huh.
He works for like kind of like a UPN, like a, do you remember like UPN?
Uh huh.
CW network and all that
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that was like a network that had a lot of like black family type of, comedies and sitcoms
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Excuse me. He's sick of pretty much all the racial stereotypes that his bosses, which is white, they're kind
Yeah.
of shoving down their throat. Oh, he's not black enough. He's not acting like this. He's not
Mm-hmm.
acting like that.
Mm-hmm.
He sets out to create the most stereotypical racist show so he can get fired from the network. But on the flip side, it ends up becoming the
Being
most
the biggest
popular,
show.
yeah, the most popular show, and they're in blackface, and it's so bad. It's really,
I
really
gotta check it
bad.
out.
It's
Yeah.
really, but I feel like those movies, the Medea movies, are almost as like you're taking it back to those days. In the
To those
fact that
days. Yeah.
I understand we have to laugh at ourselves and it's stuff like that, but it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the these actors can push themselves to do so much more.
Oh yeah.
I guess is what I'm saying. So when you get
Yeah.
movies like Black Panther, when you get movies like Black Klansman, when
Like
you
that.
get
Yeah.
movies like Get Out and Us, it just
Mm-hmm.
shows that these movies are on par with white America.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind. I
Yeah.
don't make a big deal at, but I know the rest of
Yeah.
the world
Yeah. Yeah. I
they
know
they
what you
see
mean.
that first. It's in the forefront.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what it is. But I just want everybody to give their proper due, and I think this is awesome what he's doing. And you said that he has like his next 3 to 4 movies already set out, and that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he doesn't wait till Quentin Tarantino, to span him out in like
I
five,
think
7 years.
I think he knows that. I think he's been holding. He's been in the comedy realm for his whole career. I think he's had these stories and these scripts that he's been wanting to do for so long. He
Isn't
just
that
wanted to get out of
crazy?
that space of him
Yeah,
being the funny guy. Now he's not the funny guy. I mean, we remember Key and Peele and Mad TV, but
yeah,
now he's changed his career and he's now the serious director
yeah.
when it comes to horror and just doing all that great stuff. So it's just awesome to see.
I just find that amazing. Someone that comes from comedy can jump to such a different realm. I mean, at least, I mean, he might produce
Yeah,
he
yeah.
might produce a comedy coming up, like a full blown
Mm-hmm.
comedy, and
Mm-hmm.
we won't be mad at him for that because that's the world that
Sure.
he comes from,
Where
But
it
it
comes
just
from, yeah.
maybe he just wanted to do this genre to show that, hey, comedy is not just all I know. I'm gonna kind of do something that's different for me,
Yeah.
and see if I can knock it out the gate. And I think he definitely is.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think he actually, coming from the realm of comedy, that's definitely where his roots are. But watching the interviews, man, he's a horror fanatic, man. He appreciates all the classic horror films. He's done the research. He's a horror file, so he knows what he's doing. So I think I think it was just time for him to get the right platform to kind of tell his stories.
Did you see the rumor that he is possibly going to remake Candyman?
I did, and it's
Oh
a true
my
thing.
God.
He's executive producer, and I believe there's I can't think of the director name. I believe it's a female director who's done some really great work, and she's going to be helming the film. And I believe Lakeith Stanfield was casted in the role as kind of the protagonist, and I believe the guy was named Yahya Machul the third. What's the guy's name from Aquaman who played? Have you seen Aquaman yet?
I haven't seen it yet. No.
He's in Us. He's the dad in Us. He's Adelaide's like adult dad when she was a little kid. Her father.
Oh, when they're back on Santa Cruz on the
Yeah.
boardwalk or whatever.
Apparently,
Oh, wow,
he
okay.
was casted as Candyman to take over the original Candyman. So no, it's coming out I think
Really?
next June of 2020, I believe. So it's a
Man,
real
I'm
thing that's happening
excited.
next year. Me
I'm
too. I
excited.
love
That
Candyman.
was another
One of my
movie
favorites.
that scared the shit out of me in the '90s, man. When I was a kid, and
Yeah.
I don't know why my dad used to show me these movies, but he would always have Candyman. I don't know if you remember,
Yeah.
of course, all the old Stephen King movies.
Uh-huh.
By the way, which I did rewatch Pet
I was gonna
Cemetery. I
say
know you
Pet
didn't like it.
Cemetery, man. I literally watched that the last week. Me and my girlfriend Morgan watched it, and we were just looking at each other, laughing our asses off. That film is so ridiculous and just so
The-
crazy and
so
just oh my
so I
gosh,
know
yeah,
that's for a whole nother podcast, but
yeah,
so what were some of the parts that, because I think I had a different, I remember you telling me that, so I picked it up again. They just released it on
yeah,
4K, so I
yeah,
rewatched it and I was like, man, Elliott said this was bad and I don't remember it, and then
yeah.
come to find out I didn't even watch, I never watched it.
Yeah, I know. I remember seeing it from a kid.
Yeah.
A couple scenes stood out to me. I remember Zelda. That was creepy. That was legit creepy
Hmm.
and scary. Her sister with the back paralysis, or
Yeah.
whatever. That got me. And then outside of that, I found the whole third act. The little kid and chasing around the house and throwing them and like a little fake doll.
Yeah.
I just found it to be hilarious. And the
I,
chemistry of the husband and wife was just yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that whole thing with the kid, I believe that might have come out after the first Child's Play movie. So I think they were trying to bankroll off of that probably.
Piggybacking off of that, yeah.
The, there was a lot of things. I definitely had not seen this movie. I'd seen
Yeah.
the second one. I remember the second one. Always going back to that one with Robert Furlong
Yep.
from Terminator.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So. But a lot of my friends were like, man, you like the second one? That one's so cheesy, it's so lame, and I'm like, that's what I grew up on, man. Blah blah blah.
Right.
So
Right.
watched the first one for the first time last night, I guess,
Yeah.
because I thought I'd remembered it, but I guess not.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it for the most
Right.
part. For the most part, I enjoyed it. There's those
Yeah.
scenes like when the son gets run over and he screams no, and it's like
It's like watching a Lifetime movie or
that
something.
part was very lifetimey. You nailed
Yeah.
it. That part was very
Yeah.
lifetimey. And then the whole the Child's Play scene at the end. The neighbor was a little weird at times. The real tall man.
He was weird. He was walking in their house at 3 o'clock in the morning, just walking in their house. He's taking them on a trip to the pet cemetery, and he keeps
Yeah.
telling them, we're almost there, we're almost there. I feel like I was watching Lord of the Rings. They were traveling to Mordor. It took them like
Yeah, how much
from day to
dude,
night. I'm like,
the setting was changing, and I'm like, they're going
Yeah.
miles and miles deep. How is
Yeah.
this old man keeping, like, how is he walking through
Yeah.
this? But yeah, and then there's that scene at the end when the kid gets stabbed in the neck, the little kid. Did you
Yeah.
notice that kid actually fell and hit his head on the on the door?
David, Morgan and I were watching this movie, and I don't know if so. I think they killed a cat. I think they literally killed that cat. It was,
I
it
told
was
my girlfriend that.
cat abuse in the film.
Look at this. I said, is that a real? I said, that's a real cat
Strangling
died.
the cat
That is
by
a
his
real-
neck, and then the kid bumped. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the kid was.
Man.
That was the last day of the set, because if it wasn't the last day, I'm pretty sure he had to miss like 3 weeks because of a concussion.
Yeah.
But yeah, that film is definitely it's fun, but
It's
as
something
far
else.
as like it's on another level for me. But it's super ecstatic for the new one. I
Yeah.
heard the new one is awesome. It's legit scary. I've heard, and I heard it makes it's scarier and better than it, from what I've
Yeah.
heard from some reviewers that I really respect. So
So
I'm looking
they
forward.
did actually play the newest trailer, I guess, for Pet Cemetery before us, and I guess it was a new one that I hadn't seen, more footage and stuff like that. And that one
Spoiler,
seemed
they
way
spoil everything for you.
yeah, a lot more scary for me for sure.
Yeah.
Are you seeing Pet Cemetery that weekend? Or are you seeing a pre-release of that?
The hope is Tuesday. I'm hoping to see it on Tuesday.
Okay,
which
so you are
is,
seeing it in advance.
this coming week. But I don't know if my schedule is going to allow it. But if I don't see it Tuesday, we're definitely going to do the Thursday night screening,
Okay.
or definitely Friday. I'm definitely looking forward to it because I love Jason Clarke. I think he's a phenomenal
Mm-hmm.
actor. I think he's an underrated actor. And it looks like they're taking a much more serious approach,
Yeah.
at least in my opinion, than they did in their original.
Yeah.
And I love, not to give too much away from those that haven't seen the trailer, but I love the switch that the older child is kind of the one that's going to be a guy versus the little child, which
Yeah.
yeah.
And that was something I don't think we got in the first couple of trailers. We didn't know really too much about the daughter. We saw the cat coming back, of course. The cat looked creepy as hell walking in the street. I thought that was an
Turks.
animatronic or something. I thought it was, but yeah. So we get to see that the whole thing is. I don't want to steer too much off the Us podcast too. This is usually what happens too. But that one coming up next for me for sure.
Yep.
and I already kind of have that one planned out as well. I think I'm gonna try to get those the girls Queens of the Horror, or what do they call it? Queens of on Instagram.
Yeah, they're awesome. I love them, man. We
Yeah,
chat a lot. Yeah, they're awesome.
they're another one when we first started our Instagram.
Yeah.
They're another ones that we first started, talking with, online and stuff like that about movies and stuff. So I'm gonna see if I can get them on this podcast as well to talk horror
That'd be
for Pet
awesome.
Cemetery too. Well,
Yep.
Pet Cemetery 2019.
Yeah,
So,
good.
but yeah, man, is there anything else you wanted to say about us? Some spoilers or talk about, or get anything you heard, behind the
Uh,
scenes at all?
yeah, I mean, I think we touched on a lot of it. We talked about the symbolisms and a lot of the themes that was going on. The Jason theory, is he a tethered or not,
Mm-hmm.
and Annalade having kids and they're half tethered. I guess another thing, there was a lot of. Did you? I know you brought it up in your review. You didn't have too many negatives, but did the nitpicking affect you at all? Like, okay, where did they get the jumpsuits from? Where did they get the scissors from? All those little details. Did that bother you? Because I know some people, that was their big critique, that they really couldn't, they had to, disbelief. They had to suspend their disbelief for a lot of that stuff.
I,
Did that bother you at all?
I did start thinking about it after I recorded the review. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It started to sink in a little more, and like I said, when I was talking with coworkers a little bit more about things, I started to wonder, how would they possibly be able to clone everybody? Like, how would this even come into play? The whole thing with the clothing as well.
Yeah.
Then I started asking a little more questions, and then I started telling myself, okay, then now I'm exploring more of, not letting it just be a movie. you know
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
so yeah, I didn't think about that until way after, but I did think
Hmm.
about it a little bit. Yeah, but I think that was like the main concern that I had. How would they be able to replicate everybody, even it being underground over many
Yeah.
many years?
Yeah.
Is that a true statistic, by the way, that there's thousands of underground tunnels,
I,
or is that just a
I,
made up?
I've
I don't know, I
maybe
didn't look it
made
up.
up. It might be true.
Yeah,
You're not too far from that area. Maybe you should go see if there's
I'm
little
exploring it. That's gonna be
yeah,
my next vlog. I'm
next trip.
exploring where they filmed us. I'm gonna
Us,
do
yeah.
that.
Check
Yeah,
it out,
yeah,
man.
it literally is about 3 hours up north. We actually
Hmm.
went through there for an anniversary, actually. My
Yeah,
girlfriend, yeah, for like our,
nice.
I think our 2 or 3 years. She's gonna kill me if she watches this, but
Watches
yeah,
that.
yeah, we went up. It is a beautiful area, beach town, of
Yeah.
course. I believe that boardwalk might not even really exist. They might have just made it,
I just
or
made it
or,
up.
or,
Yeah.
or it might have been a different location and they just called it Santa
Mhm.
Cruz, and they just filmed randomly in that location. They always do that, but I don't
Yeah.
I don't remember that being there.
Gotcha.
Um, but yeah, so what'd you
Yeah.
think?
No,
What'd you think about being on this podcast? This is my first one with a guest.
Hey man, I would love to be back talking spoilers with you, talking more movie stuff, man. This is fun. This is awesome. I look forward to seeing more of the episodes and more of your future guests, man. I hope you continue to do it because this is
Yeah,
awesome, man. And I appreciate you again having me on
thank you,
for one of
man.
my favorite movies of 2019 so far. And like I said, I think we're in a treat for a lot more, not only horror films, but obviously, action adventure. And like I said, man, I would love to be back on if you would love to have me on again, man.
Of course, man. Of course. Just let me
Yeah.
know. Let me know, and we'll set it up. I mean, you're amazing at the spoiler talk because I notice you get into a lot of detail. You retain a
Hmm.
knowledge. You retain a lot of knowledge. Something that loses. It just kind of runs away from me as soon as I leave that theater, and I hate it. You know what I used to do? I actually used to write notes on my phone while I was watching the movie.
Same here, man.
It got really
I do that
distracting though for
now
people.
because I do like I started doing more streaming movies like Netflix movies and Hulu. So when those come out, I have my phone available. But now at the
Yeah.
theater, I just try to remember like the pinpoints of like the story obviously, and then those big plot points that I try to remember, and then
Yeah.
try to write it down and bring out the review. So yeah.
Okay. So real quick before I let you go, are you looking forward to any big summer movies coming up?
Oh man, where do we begin? Shazam, when it does come out, man, definitely check it out, dude. It's a really good time at the theater. I think DC's got a lot of good things going for them. I'm super excited for. We talked about Pet Cemetery. What else do we have? I don't know. How do you feel about Hellboy? I think I'm excited for it because I like the director. He did The Descent, Neil Marshall, and I like David Harper. But I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
how I feel about it. But
It It does look okay. Speaking about
Yeah,
cats, man, Pet Cemetery. I got my cat over
got
here in the
your cat
window.
over
My,
there.
my, my
Yeah.
cat's falling out the window right here. I got a big Maine Coon cat too, by the way. But no, I am Hellboy. It's an awesome. Even though the second one wasn't as to me, held up to the first one. It's still an
Yeah.
awesome world, I think.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
an awesome character. I'm not too fond of I guess the main character actor switch.
Mm.
Um, but it's still amazing. He's from the guy from Stranger Things, correct?
Yeah, yeah,
The
David
police
Harper.
officer.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Hmm.
still awesome. I
Hmm.
love the cleverness, the wittiness, the almost Deadpool of this character.
Deadpoolish type of,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
back and
So
forth. Yeah.
I definitely might want to check it out. I guess I just got to see a little more action
Hmm.
of, and Mila Jovovich is in it, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She's the
So
Blood Queen, I think is the
yeah,
character's name. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yep.
it does seem interesting. I am looking actually forward to that. How about Spider
Yeah.
Man? What are your thoughts on Spider Man coming up?
I've been keeping my eye on it because it's just so interesting to see how Sony's going to handle spoilers, obviously with in-game, and then Spider-Man doesn't come out to 2 months later. So how are they going to address that? The first trailer I think did a good job. Obviously there was no they blanked out his passport. They didn't really touch on time. Is it before Infinity War? Is it after Endgame? I mean, we'll see. But
Why did Marvel do this? I don't understand why Marvel did this, man. They,
hey,
they
it's yeah.
all the announcement of they announced so early another Spider-Man. They announced another Black Panther. It's like these
Mhm.
characters are gone, yet you're announcing sequels to these
Announcing, yeah,
movies.
Doctor Strange. I think they
Yeah,
said
doctors,
Scott
exactly.
uh, Scott is back to directing it. But I mean, it's part of the nature of the beast. I think for
Yeah,
people like us, we know that they're going to get sequels. But I mean, we got to remember that there's literally people in Idaho that don't know anything about the Avengers and anything
very
about that.
true.
So they need that extra marketing. They need to show everything in the trailer, which I commend the Russo brothers so far of the marketing of Endgame. Like we barely know
Anything,
anything for this
anything.
3 hour movie. So I am super
Yeah,
excited for that in a couple weeks. Which, if you're going to do a podcast for that, man, I would love to be on there and talk spoilers for when that movie comes out
I
because there's
am
going to be
so
so much
down.
going on.
I am
Yeah,
so down for that.
yeah,
While we're on the topic, and I know we're so
hmm
steering off. I usually do this. Is Tony Stark's dying?
yeah.
I agree.
Oh,
He
that was is I think and it hurts my heart to say this because he's my favorite Avenger. I
yeah.
think Cap. I think there's a better chance of Cap going than it is Tony going because I
There's a
think
huge
it's been
pull
brought
going
up that
on.
Iron
Yeah.
Man can continue to play. We can have his AI be implemented into Spider-Man's costume, or if they
Mm.
do, continue his story somehow, whatever, we can still get Tony Stark in a sense. But I think Cap's the one that's going, man, and it hurts my heart to say it because that is my guy. I
Yeah.
love Captain America.
I think these are more of the actual actors kind of wanting to step down and do different roles.
Hmm.
Same thing
Yeah.
with Hugh Jackman with Logan, and
Hmm.
that's why I personally think that Iron Man is next to go. But
Hmm.
there is that whole talk about Cap or Iron Man. Who's it going to be?
Hmm.
Everybody's saying
Or
Iron Man.
both. You might get both of them.
Yeah, they might both sacrifice.
Yeah.
They might Iron Man might pass it down to the daughter, which is on the IMDb. You seen her on the IMDb?
Yeah. Is
She's
it
already
the
confirmed.
the 13 Reasons Why girl? Is that who they're
Yeah, I'm
giving
not
the
sure.
girl?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't seen that show. But yeah, I believe she was in talks, and then they're like, "Oh, it's confirmed. She's on the IMDb page already." So I guess her and Pepper Potts are going to continue the legacy. So there's a lot of speculations of things, but
Yeah.
I have a feeling one of our favorites is going to go.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can see it, man. And I'm so amped for the 3 hour and 2 minute adventure that we're getting in a couple
yeah.
weeks. Can't
and
wait.
and I'm sure Looper or someone's gonna do a spoiler video before, like a week
Of
before it
course.
comes out.
Of
God
course.
dang,
Of course.
and ruin everything
Yeah.
for us. No, but
Yeah.
thank you so much, Elliot. Man, it was
Yeah.
amazing having you, man. And I mean, we're already almost exactly an hour in. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for talking to us spoilers. Like I said, guys, this is at Movie Files right here for pretty much everything. Are you on Twitter or are you on
Yeah,
Instagram only?
we're on Instagram at Movie Files. We're on Twitter
No,
at
that's
Movie
right. That's
Files
right. I have seen you on
Live.
Twitter. Okay, you are on Twitter.
We do the Stardust thing, with little 30-second
That's
reactions,
right.
and of course YouTube. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I'm going to put all that information down below, guys, so you won't miss a moment with Movie Files, Elliot. And is Morgan still doing some videos with you?
Yeah, she loves going to the movies with me, man. But I'm definitely the movie fanatic of the family. So, this is why I love having, the conversation with you because she gets tired of me talking movies all the time, man. So
But sometimes we got to
she'll
get the
come in.
woman's perspective. Sometimes we
Oh
got to get the
yeah.
woman's.
I'm hoping to get her in on a review, hopefully for either Pet Cemetery or
Mm,
maybe the Avengers non-spoiler review. So I'm gonna get her back
nice.
on the channel pretty soon,
Okay.
hopefully. So yeah.
Awesome, man. Sounds good. All right, guys. Well, like always, make sure you guys are hitting that like button if you guys did like this video, and subscribe and bell notification for more content like this. And make sure you guys subscribe to Movie Files. All his information down below. It's always at Movie Files, so he's not hard to find, guys. All right, till next time, we're signing off. Peace.